And the Finn scores just his third goal in the colours of Minnesota United. And it's the first time that Columbus have conceded at MLS's back. Minnesota's Knight, Chase Gasper, with a mind of steel.
People think I do it deliberately, but I didn't read or hear or see anything before the game that suggested we had a chance.
Niezgoda is there to prod it home. And Niezgoda was ruthless with his finish.
A wild finish to the round of 16. We start with Portland taking on Cincinnati after a scoreless first half in the 61st minute.
Oh,
it looks like Cincinnati gets on the leaderboard, but I mean, the celebration was A+. Unfortunately, this one was called offside, Galen.
Yeah, I mean, you thought they had nicked one there and had gone to celebrate the whole thing, and then VAR, but the correct decision there, he was pretty clearly offside.
Yeah, indeed. 68th minute, Portland get on the board first with this nifty little goal from Jaroslav Niezgoda from the assist from Blanco, and just a little bit of a defensive breakdown from Cincinnati there.
But they kept pushing. Push. And then, here you go.
Oh,
Here's
no.
a freebie.
No. What was Steve Clark thinking? Heads up play by Alan Cruz, but Steve Clark wants that one back. And then Jurgen Locadia, the DP, came late into the game late on this one. Exactly, but made his presence known. We are all tied up.
Oh, the game winner was there. It was there.
He wants us back. It was right there for the taking, a point-blank shot, but Jurgen Locadia skies it over the bar, and we go to PKs. And unfortunately, Locadia misses that one, and then Jaroslav Niezgoda puts it away, and Portland are going to the quarterfinals. The dream is over for Cincinnati. Merritt Paulson tweeting this after the game. Okay, not going to dwell on this game or watch 1 minute of the replay. Probably smart. Bottom line is we move on. Here's a look at the game stats from this one. And, I mean, I guess we can 40 crosses for Portland. Seems like a lot. Possession definitely in their
This is what we
favor.
expected, though, Susanna. This is what we
Yeah,
expected.
it is.
And the fact that no corners shows that there's no chance of getting in behind, and you're not really threatening the goal. And Cincinnati sat back for most of the match. That's exactly what we expected. Happy to concede and take their moments when they arrived. And you have to say, at the end of the match, they have a sitter to go on to the quarterfinals, and they don't take it. Their $20 million striker couldn't do it. And so Portland, yeah, it wasn't pretty, but they move on.
We now know all 8 teams that are going to be headed to the quarterfinals. After tonight's results, Minnesota will face San Jose, and Portland can look forward to a matchup against NYCFC. What's up, everybody? Welcome on into the MLS's Back Postgame Show, presented by Audi. I am Susanna Collins, joined by my guy, Kalen Carr. We're trying to get Charlie. We've been having some technical difficulties with Charlie's stream tonight, so we're going to try to pull him back into the show.
Chuck.
Come on back, Chuck. Don't leave us now. We need you. Kaylin, this was
Call me in.
Right on cue.
Hey, right on cue. Great to see you, Charlie. Just the knockouts delivered, man. I mean, what a crazy round of 16 that we saw, capped off by this wild one between Cincinnati and Portland. And I want to get right into Cincinnati because we saw Jaap Stam talking after the game. Very, very even, very level. He spoke about the chance that they had, Jurgen Locadia had late in the game to win this one. I mean, it was there for them for the taking. Very unlikely that they were even going to be in this position, make it to the knockout rounds. But he said specifically there were just a lot of positives to take away. So, Kaylin, for you, what are some of the positives? What can we look back on at Cincinnati's performance in this tournament, and what are the takeaways here?
Jaap Stam, I think coming in, and this is a club that's gone through multiple managers to this point, and they have brought in a manager where it has given them an identity and a foundation and something that they can at least build off of. you have to remember where this club has been. I think if you look at last season, 24 points on the season. I think 6 wins and some draws. So, look, it has not been good. It has not been good enough, and there has been so much change. And when you look at what they've been able to do in this tournament and the adjustments they've been able to make, to me it showed confidence of a new manager stepping into a situation. You lose 4-0. That's a hard situation to walk into, and I think I think a lot of coaches would have said, hey, we're going to go back and we're going to stick to our plan. And I think he had the foresight to be able to say, hey, look, we really need to get behind the ball and play smart. And they found real success. And then even in their opportunities as they went forward, you saw the quality that they have as well, too. And to make it to this point in the tournament is pretty unthinkable. And then when you think about they could have gotten greedy at the end, and I think they did, to be able to come back and then really almost win this thing. It is something that Cincinnati can build off looking ahead, and Jaap Stam, for a manager that had to travel across a continent and across an ocean to get here and had almost no time to train, was learning about his team on the fly. I think he learned a lot of good things moving forward, and FC Cincinnati fans have a lot to look forward to.
Yeah, definitely something to build off of. They've got to be feeling pretty good just about their overall performance here in this tournament. Let's move it on over to Portland. We saw Merritt Paulson's tweet after the game. Said this is one he's probably not going to watch the highlights because there really weren't a ton of highlights for Portland. Not their greatest performance, certainly in this tournament. And capped off by, I hate to harp on it, but the error by Steve Clark was just pretty unforgivable at this point. Kaylin, what do you think happened here?
Well, it's hard to say. It's hard to say, but I think if you're being generous here, you're probably saying he's looking to waste some time, right? And he's sort of taking it and going to shepherd the ball to the corner and take a couple other seconds off it, wait for the striker to come in and then just fall on the ball and waste a little bit more time. And it's a risk. It's a risk in this situation because it's a bouncing ball, and Cruz does a good job of just being optimistic and saying, hey, what's the worst that can happen? Maybe it bounces, maybe it doesn't. That's a play where 99 times out of 100 you get nothing out of that optimism. Yeah. But on the one chance you do, you get a penalty spot. You get a trip to the penalty spot. So, look, Cincinnati is not an easy team to play against. They're a frustrating team to play against. I think Portland found that. Weren't able to find the quality, but yeah, in a lot of ways, and in those small moments, Steve Clark just ended up on the wrong side of the risk equation there. Yeah. And luckily for him, he was able to bail his team out in penalties to be able to get back on the right side of things. But yeah, Portland, I think they'll set this one aside, try and just move on because I don't know how much there is to learn from that one, other than maybe a couple mistakes.
One of the cool things, though, I wanted to point out about this game was that we did get to listen in on the VAR conversation for a goal by Mathieu Deplan that was eventually ruled offside. But that was a cool new feature that we've seen, and not a conversation that we have been privy to as viewers. So I think we can take a listen to that conversation right now. Here's what they had to say about calling that goal offside.
Okay, is that the kick point?
That is the kick point.
Okay, and I'm guessing number 17 and 27, let it play, let it play, let it play, let it play. Yes, he definitely gets the ball, so yes.
I'll bring it back for you one more time at the kick point.
No, that's fine, yeah, he's offside.
Are you
he's leaning forward, yeah. I'm going to disallow the go and restart with an offside.
Indirect free kick. Thank you, Armando.
Armando Villarreal and the VAR official Rosendo Mendoza.
I thought that was such a cool little peek behind the curtain that we haven't really gotten to see before. You see them do this, you see them go to the screen and consult, but that actual conversation was kind of neat. Charlie is back. Charlie, yes. Great to see your face, buddy. I know that one of the things that you wanted to talk about in regards to Portland was Sebastian Blanco. What did you see from him tonight in his performance?
Well, I saw a player who was motivated to break down this low block. Cincinnati had blocks of 5 sitting back, and they had 11 guys behind the ball. So Blanco took it upon himself to try and unlock the Cincinnati defense, whether it was combining, whether it was from shooting from distance, trying everything he could to figure out a way to break this team down. Here he is, combining with Valeri. It didn't come off. You see the passing and movement. The way you break down a low block is by the movement and letting the ball do the work. You see here, finally, he gets the breakthrough. His movement paid off. He plays the ball along the ground to Nieshgoda, who does the rest. But it's all about his movement. And then steps up for the PK. You can count on him to finish. This is what you need from your playmakers. Blanco stepped up tonight, and it was all about the urgency. Figuring out, okay, we have to be patient against this team. I know it's going to take a lot to break down this team. They are stout defense. They were a collective group, but it worked out in the end. Of course, Steve Clark had a blunder, but he made up for it on the PK shootout, made the big save, and then they all rallied. I think they're going to be stronger because of this result, and that's why I have them high. I have them high, as favorites. Not the top team, but they are up there because of this result and because they've come together as a group.
Okay, so up next for Portland is NYCFC. How do you think they match up against them?
I think they match up well. And again, the strength of this Portland side is with Blanco and Valeri. Nieshgoda has come on, and he's making an impact. He comes off the bench, he scores goals. You have Jeremy Abobasi, who's still, he had shown some flashes tonight, shooting from outside, combining, trying to get on the end early, the Blanco cross. He spoke about his partnership with Blanco and understanding the chemistry between the two and where he can be most useful on the field. But I do think Portland have the experience. They have enough quality players. They're well coached that they have the advantage in this tie.
I think it'll be a good one, but I'd probably lean the other direction, actually. I think the game will actually be flipped a little bit from what we see tonight. Portland, I think, will take a little bit more of a defensive posture, which in some ways is a little bit more comfortable for them, and then they can use their pace and play on the flanks. But what I saw from NYCFC was really positive. When you see Maxi Morales come back into the side, and yeah, they looked sort of as good as done for a while, and then until that last 10 minutes of that Houston versus Galaxy game, it looked like it was goodbye for them. And they came out against Toronto, get that early goal, get that confidence back. Maxi Morales enters into the group, and we saw the skill that they and the multiple weapons that they have in the attack. So I think New York City has some momentum going right now, and Portland, while they did, they had to break down that low block, they didn't look their best tonight. So I think it's going to be a close one, but I'd probably give a slight edge to NYCFC in this one.
All right, we soon shall find out. Well, guys, during the MLS is Back tournament, with every goal scored, Audi will contribute $1,000. There were 4 goals scored tonight, and so far there have been 121 tournament goals, totaling $121,000. During the MLS is Back tournament championship match, every goal scored is worth $5,000. And in addition, Audi will contribute $10,000 to the MLS is Back tournament Golden Boot Winners Academy Club. So speaking of Golden Boot, here are the standings for the Golden Boot presented by Audi. Of course, we've got Diego Rossi. Jazzy Zardes tonight had a goal, snuck into third place, but obviously Columbus Crew, their tournament is donezo. So he's gonna be stuck at 4. But don't sleep on Chris Wondolowski and Bradley Wright Phillips. Just saying. And on that note, let's get to the highlights from our earlier match between Columbus and Minnesota. Kalen Carr.
Yeah,
this was a fun one.
Minnesota does a really good job of just kind of staying alert and staying alive in the box, and look, it kind of comes back around and knocks around a bit, but they were alert in this one, and from there they were able to really sit back and absorb pressure through most of the match, and this is just really an unfortunate.
What was that challenge?
It's just so unnecessary too when you think of where he is on the box facing away from the goal, and then the good save, and then Jossie.
Great save by Tyler
follow-up.
Miller, but yeah. Man. Okay, so we move it on to the 93rd minute after this one. And Lucas
That's a good
Zelarayan
last
has
chance
a chance here. A last chance for Columbus. Ugh.
I think he
Tyler
was looking
Miller
towards
coming
the
up
back
big again.
post and then just tries to go across his body through the crowd to catch the keeper offsided. But good save there, and then it comes down to the penalties. And
Chase.
it's the wrong height.
Hayden Cutting?
And then Gasper steps up to
Chase Gasper.
put it away.
Oh man, so Minnesota. Okay,
How do you feel about this, Suze?
No, that is not safe for work. I'm so here for it. I love the little stash rub.
Yeah,
This is
you
pretty
might
cool
have to put
too.
a parental advisory on that.
Literally, I know. It's pretty saucy. This is the Minnesota locker room after that win. They're singing Wonderwall. It's their theme
There you
song, and you know what? They earned it, man. That was a heck of a performance and unlikely. Oh, hey, look who was tweeting after the game.
Oh.
That might be me.
Is that your
Look at
tweet? Okay.
This is obviously, I had to do a little homage to my guy.
Who would
MJ.
you say Adrian Heath is laughing at in this
I think he's
situation
laughing
here?
at you, Kalen Carr. I
Okay.
literally think
All right.
that this is all directed at you.
Wow.
And speaking of Adrian Heath, let's hear what he had to say after the game, because I have a feeling this is good.
People think I do it deliberately, but I didn't read or hear or see anything before the game that suggested we had a chance. But the most important people thought they had a chance. The most important people, and they're the players and our staff. And I said to them before the game, we play well, we're capable of winning the game. And we have. And we're capable of winning again at the weekend. But the actual belief is still growing, and I think there's more to come.
Says Adrian Heath. Now we heard what he said
talking about me.
leading up to this game. We heard what he said after the game, and we were kind of joking about it. Like this is Heath's shtick. This is what he does. The guys, they won. They're going to the quarters.
They did.
Did it work, Charlie? Did his tactics work?
The tactic did work. It's park the bus, defend, and look to score goals off of set pieces and counterattacks.
But that's not the question, Chuck. The question is, did the tactic of, saying it's us against the world and the media, did that part get them over the top?
The mental
yes,
warfare.
because you saw Chase Gasper at the end saying no one believed in the Loons, and slow it down. If you win the tournament, then you can say all this yada yada. But until you lift that trophy, I don't want to hear it's us against the world. It's like the inner Bill Belichick. You always say it's everyone versus us. We're going to take on the world. No one believes in us. And you use that as motivation for the team, which is great in the locker room. But until you win, I don't want to hear a thing. I don't want to hear nada. Because you still have to get through San Jose. And then you still have to get through LAFC or Orlando. And then you still have to beat, whether it's Philly, KC, New York City FC or Portland. So let's take it easy, because
Chuck.
Cincinnati nearly beat Portland, and they had 40 crosses for Portland into 6 for Cincinnati. And then you throw in the final ball, playing in completing a pass in the final third, okay? They had 83 passes in the final third to 245 for Portland. And they nearly won. The game was theirs. So go ahead, play your tactics, but you got to win the trophy for it to really count.
Dang.
Yeah, but you got to play your hits, right? This is his best song. This is the song he's played for years.
That song's
it's like
on
showing
repeat,
up to the show.
It's old.
And
It is old. That song is old.
I mean, they
I'm
replay
listening to
Wonderwall
it. I'm
every
vibing,
match,
I'm
and
digging
they play
Okay.
the hits, and right now it's hitting. So I can't say it's really giving them any extra motivation, or if Chase Gasper is going up to the spot at the end, being like, you know what? No one gave us. This is our Rudy moment. I mean, look, Columbus was the favorite in this match, and for good reason. They had not conceded a goal leading up to it, and even when you watch the run of play, really dominated. They get the early goal, and Minnesota is allowed to sort of take a more defensive posture, and then Columbus is tasked with trying to figure that out. And credit to Minnesota United and Adrian Heath for getting the result. But I can't say it was a convincing one or one that was necessarily beautiful or made you think that they were going to be favorites going into the next round. So, but hey, that just gives him more room to be able to bring this back again, run it back every match, and see how far they can go.
And to be honest, this style works in a tournament format. This style works. You can get to the final. You can win a trophy, but in a regular season, it's not happening. It's not happening with this type of style.
This ain't the regular season yet. This is the
MLS
MLS back tournament, baby. We're living in bizarro world right now. We're in our own bubble. We're all going crazy. And speaking of crazy, let's check in on Matt Doyle. I think he had some top tier for us tonight. Let's see what he had to say.
The lesson to take from Columbus's group stage performance was to stay compact and don't let Artur and Darlington Nagbe play through the middle. It's a lesson Minnesota United learned well and applied even better on Tuesday night. The key? Adding another defense-minded midfielder, Hassani Dotson, at the tip of Minnesota's midfield triangle. He was there to harass Nagbe, with Jan Gregus slightly underneath and Ozzy Alonso sitting smack in front of the defense, cleaning up everything. Listen as Caleb Porter explains what the Loons were doing throughout the first half and would do throughout the game.
Yeah, we need to keep overloading Alonso. We can work the pockets there with Lucas Zelerian and Pedro Santos. They're trying to disrupt our build-up into Artur and Nagbe, so we need to play through the lines into the pockets in around Alonso. When we were able to do that, we were able to create space and chances.
Columbus, to their credit, immediately tried to follow Porter's instructions and play into the pocket, attempting to drag Ozzy out of the middle. But Minnesota's defensive shape was just too sound, and Ozzy's just too good, so the Loons never got stretched out. And that meant it was time for a shootout at the end of 90. And when the shootout came, the Loons were ruthless. It wasn't pretty, but it doesn't have to be. You just have to survive and advance.
All right. Remember, you can check out more of Matt Doyle's Top Tier on MLSsoccer.com and on Twitter. And survive in advance, yo. We are headed to the quarterfinals. That was a quick look at the quarterfinal schedules, kicking off on Thursday with Philadelphia Sporting Kansas City. On Friday, we've got Orlando LAFC. Saturday, a doubleheader, San Jose, Minnesota, followed up by NYCFC and Portland. Okay, so now is the part of the show where we really just go off the rails. So as we're wont to do on MLSsoccer.com, they have asked us to put together sort of our power rankings, Kalen, if you will.
No, not again.
I know.
Are you
I know.
serious?
This
Susanna,
is.
I just got rid of all the.
It's a nightmare for you. I know this.
On my
I know.
Twitter, I can't even log on anymore.
Well, okay, so this is our power rankings for the quarterfinals. So there are 8 teams left battling it out to win the MLS's back tournament. We were tasked with ranking these teams. And so I'm going to make this a little bit easier for you because I'm going first. And I just want to tell you what my approach was going into this because we know nothing. If MLS's back tournament has taught us anything, it's that we know nothing. And so I am going purely on just like a heart, gut feeling. There is no stats, no like actual reason or logic behind this list. I literally threw it out the way. People are literally looking at this and going, Susanna, you're drunk, go home. Well,
I think you're wrong,
what?
Susanna.
I'm already home because it's COVID, and I wish I was drunk, but I'm not. So this is my list, and I'm just going with the feel good. San Jose, beep beep, I'm on that train. Orlando, love that story. LAFC, okay, they're fabulous. They're doing great, but let me throw Minnesota in there. Let me throw Adrian Heath a little bone, and then the rest of the 4, I was just kind of like, let's just throw it up and see where they fall. This was literally my logic. But I feel good about my top 4 because it's so ridiculous.
I think you are the people's champion, universally beloved all across the soccer community in North America and far beyond, and specifically in the markets of San Jose and Orlando, because these groups, although Adrian Heath wants to think his team has been counted out the most, San Jose and Orlando fans have been clamoring online saying, "Who's giving us some love?" So you have clearly. I think you are going to come out of here more popular than you began.
I have zero regrets, because, like I said,
shouldn't.
expect the unexpected. We know nothing, and who the heck knows, Charlie Davies? Who the heck knows? That's all I'm saying.
These are facts. These are facts. All
right.
I'm proud of you for making this list.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes.
And the
feel good
reasoning
about
behind
it
it really makes it for me. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm proud of
All
you
right,
for this.
Kaylin, we're gonna put you on the spot next. Give us your list.
Let's move on.
Vivek.
Let's do something else. Yeah.
Oh, this
All right,
is
here's my list.
Ooh. Okay.
San Jose's
so, yeah.
up there, huh?
So,
Start from the
LA,
bottom.
Let's start positive. We'll start at the top. LAFC.
I really hope Adrian
think,
Heath is watching this right
you know,
now. I'm
yeah,
dying.
the
So we
clear
started
number
from the
ones.
bottom, now we're here.
We'll get there. Hold on. LAFC at the top of my list. I don't even. We can skip that, right? We know. San Jose. Look, they have earned it. And when you look at the round, the round of 16 or whatever, like all the matches have been really close for the most part. The only two that weren't were LAFC and San Jose, and NYCFC as well by a 2-goal margin. But I thought San Jose really put on a show and deserves to be number 2 looking ahead. Shout out to San Jose. I'm going on a podcast tomorrow with Marvell Wynn. 3, I've got Philadelphia. They are unbeaten in the tournament, have not lost, and I don't think have played their best yet. And I think in the small margins, this is a team that can win, youth experience and some depth. So I'm going them 3. NYCFC, I think, have a lot of momentum. They were as good as gone on their way home, maybe half 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and got a second lease on life, and boy, did they take it with both hands against Toronto FC, so they've got some momentum. Portland didn't play their best. FC Cincinnati, to me, is a tough team to play against, and we've seen some good stuff from Portland throughout the tournament. They survive in advance. I give them a push there. And Sporting, look, I think Sporting, same thing. Didn't play their best against Vancouver, so that's why they're a little bit lower on my list. And then, look, Orlando, this is going to hurt because I want to put Orlando higher than this.
Rude.
And I think they deserve to be higher
Rude.
if there was any way possible. But they're playing against LAFC, and LAFC is number 1 on my list, so I can't put their most likely to win the tournament, and then Orlando also with a good chance. So, sorry, that's not happening. And Minnesota United, oh,
boy.
Look, I got to be careful what I say
Pile on the hate. Pile on the hate.
I got to be
Pile
careful
on
what
the
I
hate.
say here.
I feel like these are just like, it's like a vendetta between you and Adrian Heath, and I'm kind of here for it. I love it. Okay,
Not
before we
at
lose
all.
Charlie,
I'm not
Yeah,
falling
he
into that
does.
trap. I'm not
Yeah.
falling into that trap.
He has a
but
problem
Minnesota
with
United.
I don't know
I'm
what
going to make it
is,
a
but he has
thing.
problem.
I
Minnesota
kinda want
United,
it to be a
it's the
thing.
same logic that I have San Jose rated so highly because I think they are, a top team and deserve to be ranked number 2. So I can't pick LAFC and San Jose without taking the other side and putting Orlando and Minnesota
boy.
at the bottom.
Okay, Charlie, before
That's
we
it.
lose you again.
Don't
Yes,
at me on
Let's
Twitter, please.
let's get to Charlie's list.
Okay. I'll start from the bottom. So, Minnesota, same with
Louise.
Thielen.
Y'all are harsh.
They're just predictable. And
Oh.
I think it just comes to an end at some point. We saw Cincinnati. It worked, and then it didn't. I think that's what's going to happen here with Minnesota going up against San Jose. Sporting KC, just too inconsistent in the back. It's that simple. Orlando, I would like to get them a little bit higher, but I think 6 is great for them. I think that's
with you guys?
Oscar Pereira's
Have
done
you watched
well
Orlando?
with what he has. San Jose, again, they've come a long way, but I think they lack quality compared to the next 4. NYCFC, I love attacking players, and they have so many players who can hurt you in different ways. They've come on late. They've been inconsistent, but if they can continue to play and improve, this is a team to watch. Philadelphia, they've just grinded out win after win after win. They're figuring out how to get results without even playing well. I think when they start to put it together and start playing well, they're going to be tough to beat. Portland, just because knockout rounds, they have done well. They've made it to an MLS Cup with Gio in 2018. They have veteran leadership. They have new youth guys coming in with Eric Williamson, who I thought was fantastic for many parts of tonight. And then Jeremy Abobasi seems like he's growing, and Nishkoda, who's coming in to be a difference maker off the bench. And LAFC is LAFC. They're the best team in the league. It's not even a question. They're missing their best player. So I think Bob Bradley has these guys playing at a phenomenal level. They are the top team. They are the best team in the league, and they're difficult to beat. So I feel like even if a team is going to get at them, they'll win 5-4 if they have to.
Boy, you got my list was the most fun. That's all I'm going to say.
It was the most fun.
Good.
Yeah.
Me and Kalen, we're going to have our big
Take some
picture
risks.
plastered
What have we
Take
done?
some risks, will you?
in
Yeah.
Minnesota.
Lead with your heart. Ugh, you guys. All right. Let's take a look at this schedule for the quarterfinals. No games tomorrow. We're going to get a much-deserved night of rest, but we'll be back on Thursday. Philadelphia against Sporting Kansas City, 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. On Friday, Orlando taking on LAFC. That game at 7:30 p.m. on FS1. Saturday, we've got a doubleheader. San Jose taking on Minnesota, 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2, and then followed up by NYCFC versus Portland, 10:30 p.m. Eastern on FS1. Remember, you can join us for MLS Today, presented by AT&T. We'll get you started at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, right before that Philadelphia and Sporting Kansas City match. And join us after the game for MLS is Back Postgame Show, presented by Audi. We'll wrap things up and look ahead to the next matches. But for now, guys, thanks for sticking with us, hanging with us late night MLS after hours. We appreciate you. We hope you loved the soccer and the show. Get some rest. We'll see you on Thursday.